Hey, Baku-san, JRPG, welcome to the stream. How are you doing, man?
Hello, hello. Good evening,
Ah,
Mr. Derek. How are you?
I am so good. I am so pumped after hearing my own theme song for HitPoint.
This is the
Ah,
best money ever spent, man. It's a great song.
it is absolutely a fantastic song. Anybody who's heard that before, that's actually from my buddy Eric Ladd from Ladd Studios. He is just such a killer guitarist and bassist, and basically he's like a one-man show. He did that entire thing by himself.
Oh
Drummer,
wow.
huge into drums as well. Uh, Incredible work. So, anyways,
Wow.
yeah, I know, one-man show,
Wow. That's
crazy,
that's
right?
pretty yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I
So
I couldn't even play one of those instruments.
I could probably play the drums very poorly
Yeah.
though, without rhythm. Drums without rhythm. That would be my band name.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of exciting things to talk about today. We had that whole Nintendo Direct.
Wait,
Are
wait.
you excited to talk about it?
What Nintendo Direct?
What Nintendo? Yeah, which one? Which one? What? Don't know
uh
her.
no. I do want to, before we dive into things, I do want to apologize to everybody because normally we would be streaming this on Sunday night. Things came up, ended up having to move it to tonight, which happened to be Valentine's Day. So we have a little bit of a Valentine's Day gift from Nintendo that we're going to be talking about. It's not even like they like us or anything, but I'm pretty excited to talk about it anyway.
It's a love letter to JRPG fans for sure, right?
Oh man, what a
Man,
crazy day that was.
I
So
know.
now, for everybody who's joining us for the first time, this is HitPoint. This is our RPG news podcast, our niche news podcast, because I do think we're going to be talking more as time goes on about other things like anime, figures, and other niche things. And I think you'll even catch some of that today. So stick
You
around.
absolutely will.
We will be responding to and answering any questions that are sent to us via Super Chat. We'll also try to keep an eye on chat as we go, but we'll make a point of responding to any Super Chats or any questions at the end of the show. But before we do that, you want to talk about some of the feedback we got from our last episode, Baku?
Yeah, let's do it. So we've got one from, and I'm gonna mispronounce this. Do you French? Can you French, Derek? I mean, speak French. Wait, what?
Oui, oui.
That- that-
No, I cannot. So I think that might be uh, like convraseur. Like
Conrad,
it's like connoisseur, but with a convraseur.
we need someone who can speak French here.
We do. I mean, I brought you in for the Chinese and Japanese. Why don't you
Right?
have why don't you have the French, Baku? Come on.
I think you should take on the French. I don't know. That
Okay,
sounded wrong again.
gonna take on all the French.
Yeah, take on all the French. Um, okay, so Cavrassier, if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, I apologize. Loving the show. Love to see a podcast centered around JRPGs. Keep it going. We absolutely will. Thank you so much for the kind words.
Yeah,
Uh,
I got this next one here. I'll probably
okay.
mispronounce this one though, but it's from Cole Soak. I think is how they pronounce
I
that.
think you got that right.
You
Yeah.
think I got that right? Okay.
I think so. I think so.
COALSOAK. Yeah, I think
Yes,
we got that. Okay. He
I think you
says,
got that right.
"Can we request a list of names and release dates, if available, for the games that we talk about on the podcast?" So yeah, we're actually going to be doing that straight away. We actually started after we received this comment. We put those down into the comments or the video description. So after this podcast is done, we'll go ahead and append the description and add timestamps and everything for people to switch around in and such. So thank you for the suggestion, and we'll be doing that from here on.
Absolutely. Any of you guys got more suggestions, feedbacks? Just like leave it in the comments, man. We're gonna read those, and and most likely we'll get to them sooner than you think.
Yeah, we want to make this podcast, this show, the best that it can be, and you guys are going to be a great way to ensure that we continue to do that. So,
Absolutely.
uh,
Next we got one from Mecha Otaku Gamer. I'm pretty sure I pronounced that one correctly. So Edge of Eternity is a turn-based RPG that has similar combat system to FF12, and it comes out on February 10th for everything but the Switch. This version comes out later. And y'all forgot to mention it in the upcoming game section. First of all, thank you so much for bringing that up. We actually did have that. Derek
Yep.
had it,
Yep.
and then I was like, "Yeah, I don't really have anything interesting to say about it."
It's one of the
So
10
then
games that he made me cut.
it was. So we didn't forget about it. We had it, and then we made an editorial decision. Uh,
Yeah.
but but thank you for bringing that up. I'm sure that that was very helpful for everyone who might be interested in it, who might have read the comment.
It did
Again,
look pretty
appreciate
cool.
it. Yeah,
It did look pretty
it,
cool.
it did look pretty cool. But speaking of this game, did you know that the developer Midgar that developed the game actually just got acquired by another French developer, Nacon, just now?
Did you say fringe developer or French developer?
French developer. Like, wait,
The French
yeah,
again.
yeah, those French developers.
Gotta take them all on. No. Gonna take on the
Oh
French.
boy, you
So
be ambitious, yeah. So yeah, did you see what we just did there? We just stuck in some news.
I did not see that. So they got acquired by a French developer, you said?
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think Midgar is actually a French developer.
Oh, okay. So it's
Yeah,
okay.
I think, I think, I think. But yeah, but they were actually just acquired shortly after that release, which is kind of crazy. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if, like, there's some kind of weird timing to this, but yeah, no, that just happened like 2 days after.
Very cool. I mean, I hope it's
Yeah.
cool. I mean, because that was an indie RPG developer, and now they're less indie, I guess. Maybe they'll have deeper pockets to further fund their games that they're creating. I mean, it's
Let's hope so.
yeah, we talked about it before. It's kind of a way into the industry to do some indie stuff, and
Yeah.
so yeah, best of luck to them, and I hope that works really well for them. Now,
Yeah.
Morgan Kingsley, uh, Gonçalo Fieria, and Scott Pilgrim. Was it 3 different people who said this, or?
So the three of them had like a little discussion in the comment
Oh,
section. Yeah,
okay.
so I would just want to give the all three of them a quick shout out. Thank you so much for that. I love it when you guys have these like discussions. But the question that kind of came up in the middle was are sales based more on marketing budget and brand recognition or actual game design and technical prowess? I just
100%
thought
the
that
former.
question was yeah, I thought
100%
that
the
question was
former.
interesting.
I think it's
100% a former?
100%. Yeah, it's got a lot. I mean, I hate that it is that way, but it definitely is
Mhm.
that way, yeah.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
definitely brand recognition. 100%.
yeah.
100%. Yeah.
If
Uh
simply investing all of your time and development or time and money into development and putting out the best game that you possibly could without worrying about marketing and stuff, then you'd basically have to rely on word of mouth, which sometimes can be really good. And that's how things go viral. Sometimes it can
like
work.
DDLC.
Yeah.
Doki Doki, yeah. Doki
Or
Doki, just word of mouth. That thing spread like wildfire. But the game
Undertale.
also had to be free.
How about Undertale?
Undertale?
Yeah, that one went pretty
I
viral, right? I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah, I think so. I think
so.
so.
And I haven't played Undertale, so I can't really comment as to like how much of the
I'm
gameplay.
actually surprised that you haven't yet.
I know it's one of
Yeah.
several that I need to, but
Yeah.
like, so it can work, but also there's a lot of like the fact that we have a phrase called hidden gems is an example of how it has to be a combination of marketing and something worth marketing, because if you don't market properly, your gem becomes hidden. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
the nature of the beast there, unfortunately. So yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a very crowded market. I mean, just go on Steam. Go on Steam and look at all the new games coming out.
Yeah.
Like, which one is quality, which one is not? Do you really have time to sift through all of it if it's not your day job, right? Like, just a casual gamer, I don't have time for this, right? Like, I would just trust either someone like Derek, or or a show like HitPoint telling us that it's a good game, right? A Derek review, maybe, right? But otherwise, I'm not sitting through and sipping through, all these games. I don't got
Oh
time for
man.
that.
Dude,
Yeah.
even as somebody who made the JRPG Weekly Update for a few years, it's a lot to sift through, even if you're only taking a cursory look at the things that come to console even. But if you are looking at like the breadth scope of games that come out on Steam but never come to another console, like that's, I gotta say, first and foremost, that's often the very first filter that you have to hit before it'll really cross my radar, because there's just the deluge of content coming out on Steam
Yeah.
exclusively. It's
Mhm.
a torrent.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you catch, that little thimble of greatness out of the deluge, the torrent of flood of content coming through? It's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, look, there are actual people whose day job is to sift through all of these and test them and then make recommendations, and then that, gets larger and larger. But man, you'd have to depend on that,
Yeah,
basically. Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
I also think like there's like a Disney effect, because this whole question came from Pokemon. They're like, oh yeah, so basically it's maybe a backhand on the Pokemon company, and not necessarily making like the best game they possibly can. It's this whole conversation, right?
I mean,
But
yeah.
but
And
brand recognition alone.
you've been
Oh
playing
yeah.
a bit of Pokemon Arceus. How do you feel
Mhm.
about so far? I mean, obviously, you can't give like a definitive like review of it. You haven't finished it yet, but just what you've seen, does it feel like a really refined game, or does it feel kind of like sketchy, kind of loose?
Graphically, no. Graphically, no. But the aesthetics and the gameplay really ties together. So I'm not, I don't think it's detrimental.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. Is it a Final Fantasy 15 kind of like graphics? And no, of course not, right? But if you look at the target demographics, which are supposed to be kids, right? Supposed to be.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
know it's not. Yeah, I just don't think it's a big issue.
yeah. It
Um,
didn't seem super cut and dry. It looks visually not super refined, but from a gameplay
yeah.
perspective, though, from what I've seen, it looks pretty solid.
Oh yeah, no, it's very fluid. I think that's what really matters at the end of the day. It's got the action elements, so you have to be a lot more fluid than previous games, where it's just like battle animation and it's set like animation, so you can make them as fluid as you can. Now there's like player interaction, moving back and forth, so it's gotta feel natural, right? So I think they nailed it
Yeah,
on their first try. But yeah, but with like the Disney branding, the nice thing about Disney, if you don't know, is that their brand's worth a lot because parents don't have to think about it. If it's Disney, they will just take their kids to it. They don't have to review it. They don't have to think twice. That's the power of brand.
yeah,
So
that is true.
Pokemon is that brand for a game.
Hmm.
If you're a parent, you don't have to think about it, right?
Yeah,
Just Pokemon. Oh yeah, no, it's fine. Kirby, yeah, it's fine. Like it's automatic. I don't have to think about it. You want it, play it, right? Send them off to the kids. So I think Nintendo's done a great job with being sort of like the Disney of all these games.
yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
absolutely agree with that. Uh, so, did we want to take a look at some more recent releases that have happened here?
Yeah, absolutely. So I know you guys are all waiting for the Nintendo Direct, but there are other game news that's come out. So please
Yeah.
give us a minute. Let's talk about something else. We'll get to the meat of it. So Scarlet Nexus just released a third DLC called the Brain Eater DLC, and it's now available. It will include Episode Karen, which sounds hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing at Episode Karen. It's like, who named this thing?
They want to speak to the manager.
Uh, oh my god. So it tells the story of Karen Travers prior to the events of the game. But be warned that this DLC will contain spoilers for the main game, so it is highly advised that you complete the main game before moving to the DLC content.
Okay.
Yes. And then moving on, we've got some games coming up this week. As a matter of fact, in 2 days, this game will come out, and the game is called Voice of Cards: The Forsaken Maiden. Have you heard of
Forsaken.
Voice of Cards, Derek?
I have not.
You have
Maybe I
not.
have. Maybe I have.
Mhm.
It sounds vaguely familiar, but it sounds like a card-based RPG. And I gotta be honest, I'm kind of a snob when it comes to turn or card-based RPGs. I need to fix that about myself. But it's okay. We all have our burdens to bear.
I feel like this actually might be up your alley a little bit. I don't know. You can either really love it or really hate it. So let's talk about it, right? So this came from Square Enix, so big developer.
Mhm.
It is the sequel, actually, to the 2021 meta tabletop RPG Voice of Cards: The Isle Dragon Rawls, with development led by Yokotaro and music by Keiichi Okabe. So if those names sounds familiar, it's because they also did the
Near,
development
right?
and music for Near. Yeah, so it's good stuff. The art's incredible, um, but it's a little basic for me. I need a little bit more like stimulation. Like I my imagination just doesn't carry me. But if you are a tabletop fan and you are sort of used to just using your imagination, and the narration of the game master to carry you through,
Mhm.
this may actually be a really good game
Okay.
for you. Yeah.
Okay. So
So
you've got my attention.
mhm.
Do we want to take a look at the teaser for that, the trailer?
Let's do it. I want to hear your take on it.
Okay. Here, let's load that up here.
Of a maiden who
Oh,
feared
hold
herself
on.
worth.
Technical difficulties immediately.
Gotta love it. Okay. Let's try that again.
Okay. Oh, there it is.
There we go. All right.
Across the seas and through her own heart.
So it's got amazing music.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds really nice. Okay. I mean, looks like I was definitely right on about it being a card-based RPG.
Yes, it absolutely is.
Okay, so I can kind of see a little bit of that tabletop inspiration that you were talking about there. Probably a little closer to maybe Magic the Gathering. Maybe.
No, not quite. Not quite.
Not quite.
Not quite. Yeah. So I've seen some gameplay, and basically, unless they change the game, you kind of follow sort of like a grid system along a rail,
Mhm.
and you just sort of travel in an adventure, and you land on certain spots. The narrator will tell you certain things. You have to make choices. It is a meta tabletop game. Like it treats the game like it is set on a table.
Okay.
Yeah. Like they could release a card game with this and you would play it all the same. Granted, you won't have the narrator, but you know, it's theoretically possible to replicate this on an actual tabletop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it seems pretty interesting. So
Yeah, I figured you might like that. I'm surprised that you haven't heard of it.
I'll definitely have to look up more into it because, I mean, just based on what I saw, I feel like either it didn't show a whole lot of gameplay or I didn't recognize it as gameplay.
That trailer didn't show a whole lot of gameplay, but it did show
Okay.
you some of the music and
The
some
music was
cards and
gorgeous,
art.
though. Yeah, that was some gorgeous
nice.
music.
Yeah.
Do we know who did the music on that?
Keiichi Okabe.
Keiichi Okabe. Okay.
Yeah. He's the composer for Nier and Drakengard. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I haven't.
Super respected composer.
Yeah, I haven't played Nier, but I've played Drakengard 1. So
Mm-hmm.
it's also I played it when it first came out. So it's been a really long time since I heard their work. But that was really pretty. That was for sure really great.
Yeah. I'm surprised you haven't checked out Nier Automata yet. That game is just like, just praises all around.
Yeah, well, part of me is like, I gotta go through Drakengard 2, Drakengard 3. Then
No,
I can
you do not.
I mean, I know
No,
that
you
they're.
do not. No, you really don't.
I know I don't have to appreciate the story, but as a reviewer, I usually like to play the game sequentially so that I can see like where the developers have come from and how they progressed and evolved over time. And so if I don't do that, then going back in time I find is a lot harder, than going forward in time. But, that's just one of my own idiosyncrasies. But I understand a lot of people would really probably like me to check out Nier Automata and the new the original Nier and all that.
Hey, y'all know what to do. Time to shame Derek on Twitter again.
My backlog is already massive, but
I can imagine.
Luckily I do own them. I own them, so the hard part's done. At least
Right.
I own
That
Automata.
is not the hard part. That is not the hard part. As anyone who has ever like bought games on a Steam sale, buying it is not the hard part.
You'd be surprised. Sometimes, okay, this is just story time at this point. So sometimes Amy will like have me go to, my wife is Amy, by the way. For anybody who doesn't know, she'll like drop me off at a GameStop or something while she goes into Target or like Sally's Beauty Supply and just like, she just drop me off there and let me just go through all the aisles and just look at stuff. And then she'll go off and she'll shop for like 2 hours and she'll come back and I'll have like 2 games in my hand after like looking through everything. And she'll get there and be like, well, and I'll just put them back on the shelf because legitimately I am just such a cheapskate when it comes to buying games in general that I will hem and haw over just the most basic things and I'll try to get the best deals. So I walk in there and they'll have like, oh, we have this deal where you can get 2 games for 20% off, 3 games for 30% off, or 4 games for 40% off, and 5 games or more for 50. I know it is because they get me every dang time, but it's always like, for like the games under a set amount of money, right? So it's like games under 30, and then those deals apply. So I'll go through and I'll like, okay, I want to make the most of this. I'm gonna make them regret putting this sale together. So I'm gonna go through and meticulously craft this set of boxes of games that I want, that I don't own, and I'll get them all together in this ultimate bundle that I finally feel proud of. And I'm like about to go to check out, and I'll be like, I don't recognize any of these games. I'll be so like focused on min-maxing my upcoming purchasing experience that like by the time I get to the checkout counter, I'm like, I'm not excited about the games anymore, and I'd be more excited to keep the money that I was gonna spend. So
oh man, no, that has happened to me more than too many times. Yeah, that I'd like to admit. Yeah,
I know it's
oh boy,
it's my cross to bear. That's just how it is sometimes.
You know what would make it a little easier for you, and I'm sure a lot of folks will appreciate me saying this, maybe, but instead of Drakengard and all that, you could just start with Nier Replicant and treat that as the beginning of the Nier series, and just forget about Drakengard, period, because they don't really link anyway.
I know. I should.
You should just look at that as the first game, and Automata as the second game, and then I think you're gonna feel a lot better than not having to go for Drakengard 1, 2, and 3. Because man, I would not make my worst enemy go for Drakengard 1, 2, and 3. They don't play. They are pretty. The music's great, but oh my god. Well, 2 isn't even made by Yoko Taro, so that doesn't really help you.
I loved Drakengard 1 though. I loved it. I loved getting all the new swords and killing all the grotesqueries on the back of a giant dragon. Oh, yes. Yeah.
And Drakengard 3 has a lot of that, but boy, does it not play well. And it's not Yoko Taro's fault, because we've seen what he can do.
Yeah.
Just, man, that game was just very poorly optimized.
Well, I hate to completely sidetrack or side rail the entire discussion,
Mhm.
but yeah, Voice of Cards. I might have to take a look at some gameplay trailers to actually like really see if that's something that's more for me. But that's coming out
Absolutely.
in a couple of days though. Here on
2 days.
2 days.
2
So the
days.
16th,
No,
17th.
sorry, 17th.
Yeah,
3 days.
17th for
3
any
days.
yeah, for anybody who's listening
Yes.
at home, 17th. It's coming on
17th.
PS4, Switch, and PC.
Yes. Okay. Now let's talk about some new game announcements that's coming. So not immediately coming out, but this will lead into our Nintendo Direct talk. The
Mhm.
Disgaea 6 Complete is coming.
Yeah.
And this version will include all the previously released characters, cosmetic DLCs, and an entirely new colored DLC. Not to mention that NIS America, the publisher, will release a physical limited edition for the PS4 and PS5 version. It will run you about 110 US dollars. It'll come with an art book, 2 soundtracks, a cloth poster, and some art cards. All in a nice collector's box. In fact, you can pre-order it right now. The
Gosh.
game will come out in summer 2022.
That sounds pretty good. That sounds
Yeah.
I mean, it's $110, but that's a lot.
It's a good amount.
But I mean, it's a lot that it includes in the box. I mean, honestly, I've eyeballed some soundtracks that were, you know, pretty expensive as well. So to get it bundled in with the game and all of the DLC, and as I understand, this is the very first Disgaea game to be coming to PS5. So if you're a Disgaea guy who happens to have a PS5, or gal who happens to own a PS5, then this would definitely be the sort of, you know, thing that might be exciting. I don't know. I mean, then again,
Yeah.
Disgaea isn't exactly the sort of series to seem like it would take full advantage of the PS5. I don't know if that's overgeneralizing just from what I've seen, but it doesn't seem like it's still kind of like a 2D like.
It's 3D now.
Is it now?
Some folks were not too happy about the 3D. I actually thought the 3D looks pretty good. You know, but you know, some folks just maybe takes a little bit of time to adjust the changes. I think
Yeah.
in time they'll come to appreciate it, because I think that's about as good as it's going to look like if they ever move to 3D. It's pretty fluid.
Yeah, that's one of those things we
yeah.
touched on when we were talking about Pokemon and how it was subtly changing, or not so subtly changing with this Arceus. So, you know, yeah, that's just how people are. I guess they don't want to see their favorite things change, even if it's for the better or not even for the worse.
Yeah,
you know?
and sometimes only time can tell, you know, like, was it a good decision to change? Because I can name a couple of game franchises that really changed for the worse. And we still look at them and regard the games where the change happened as sort of like the worst in the series. So yeah, only time can tell.
Breath of Fire 5.
Seiken Densetsu 4.
Hey, Seiken
Unlimited
Densetsu 5.
Saga.
Oh yeah, Seiken Densetsu.
Yeah,
Seiken.
yeah. That was the thing.
Oh.
Did you know that? Did you know that was a thing?
Oh my God, Seiken Densetsu 4. Was that the PS2 title?
That was the PS2 title, yeah.
Oh my gosh. At first, for some reason, my mind, when you said Seiken Densetsu, I went to Suikoden 4. I'm like, but then I would just say, no, but Suikoden 5 was actually really good.
No, I would never comment on Suikoden. I'm not prepared to have my life ending yet.
I gotcha.
You got some crazy fans out there.
Oh,
It's Trails and Suikoden. And it's 2 games that you don't ever talk about.
it's true. You don't mess with that.
Yeah, you don't mess with that. But yeah, no. So the game is again coming out in summer 2022, PS4, PS5, and the Steam, with the limited edition for PS4, PS5, available now in pre-order in the NIS America store. Check it out. Okay, so are we ready, Derek? Are you good?
Is it that time?
It's time.
Guys, did you see that Nintendo Direct the other day? I'm sure you have, because we were going to talk about it like a half of a week after the fact, and it's the next day already. So you've probably caught a little bit of this news, but we're going to talk about it anyway, because this horse is so dead that it is worth beating.
Yes.
That Nintendo Direct
Beat it some more.
was so good. I don't think we're necessarily gonna sit through each of the trailers of everything, because I mean, we'd be basically rewatching the entire Nintendo Direct if we were.
You
But
pick and choose, sir. You pick and choose.
so let's go ahead and just start with taking not an actual look at the trailer, but just talking a little bit about the Fire Emblem Three Hopes, or Fire Emblem Warriors Three Hopes rather.
That's correct.
It's a big
So,
difference.
yeah, so all the games we're going to talk about are going to be more or less in sequential order. So if you watch the entire direct, which I think we'll link,
Yeah.
it's going to be in sequential order. Okay. So the first thing that happened was Fire Emblem Warriors Three Hopes. It is, from my understanding, it is going to be a retelling of the Three Houses story, with Muso style gameplay, which is it was basically Dynasty Warrior.
Yeah.
And now the developer has hinted that the story will play out differently from Three Houses, because otherwise you would already know how the game ends, and that's not fun for anybody. And it will be more hopeful.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're calling it Three Hopes on purpose, because puns, punny. Yeah, but it's gonna be more hopeful endings. I don't know if any guys played Three Houses. I have not personally played Three Houses, but I've sat through a lot of playthroughs, and man, the story's like meek. The story is just dark.
Is it really?
Oh yeah,
I have
story's
not.
dark.
I haven't played it. Otherwise, I would have reviewed it. But
Ooh,
it looks
story's dark.
pretty. It looks really pretty. But yeah,
It is a gorgeous game, as expected of Fire Emblem. I love Fire Emblem. I just haven't had time to play it yet. But it's brutal. It's brutal.
So
Without getting too much into it, you're gonna get to know some folks, and then you're gonna have to go against some folks.
except in this
you're
game,
not gonna
because it's
want to
going to
do it.
be it's because this one's going to be a lot more cheerful, a lot more slice of life version of
I
Fire
wouldn't go
Emblem
that
3
far.
It's going to be
Yeah, I wouldn't go that
cheerful, fairy tale endings. You heard it here first, everybody.
Oh
This
my
is where you go to feel good by the end of the game. If you didn't care for the really dark ending of Fire Emblem Three Houses, well, this is the game for you to play, and you'll it's one of those uplifting, kinds of feel good.
I don't know if listen, don't listen to Derry. This is the rumor territory. This is how rumor starts. Look, okay. I'm going to
Straight
I'm
up
gonna
spreading
say,
misinformation. Yep.
You're right. This is a news show, sir. I'm gonna say that you're not gonna get a fairy tale ending, but you're not gonna feel good, but you would probably feel a little better.
Okay.
Let's just leave it at that. You'll feel a little better. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I sure hope that it helps provide maybe some extra closure for anybody who needed it. So
I think that's part of the reason why they're doing it too. So
yeah.
I honestly think so. Okay, so next up we got Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp. Just gonna touch on this really quick. It's developed by Way Forward, and the strategy game is gonna feature a lot of quality of life improvements. And the pre-order is happening right now, and it's gonna have an April 8th, 2022 release date on the Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And this one's
And
being
next up-
made by Way Forward, I think, which is
correct.
they're super. They do a lot of like retro remasters and such, right? What else have they? Did they do Shantae?
I don't recall, because
I
I've
think-
never played Shantae. I've seen Shantae and looks really good. I don't know if they're Way Forward, but Way Forward's been around for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what all they did. If it was like, yeah, okay, so they did do Shantae. Gosh, what else did they do? River City Girls, as opposed to like River City Ransom.
Girls was them.
Mhm,
Wow.
mhm. Oh,
Yeah. No.
Yeah, then there's Mighty Switch Force. Yeah. They did a lot of really interesting games actually. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I guess the name it's not just a clever name, because like they also are like a way forward
Oh
of
my
bringing.
God.
I mean, that's
Oh no.
no, I think that's what they're actually going for with the name of their company. Like,
Pretty
it's,
sure that's exactly what they're planning for. But
yeah, it's a
dang
way
it,
forward for
I was
older.
thinking about it.
Yep. I'm glad I can make you groan like that. It's great.
Thank you, Derek. You do have that special power.
Yeah, I get that a lot. So
Yes. So again, April 8th, 2022 for everyone who is interested in Advance Wars 1 and 2. And it just comes in a single package. It's all nice and neat. And it's got a bunch of improvements.
yeah,
Yeah. So the next game, oh, this is exciting. Front Mission 1 Remake. Developed by Square Enix. This is the remake of the 1995 classic Front Mission tactical RPG games. Units are customizable robots. So instead of having like, a knight or, whatever class you have in other tactical RPGs, you've got just robot and frames and you can switch out their armaments and all that. And the really cool thing is that each of the body parts, so like you got your arms and your legs and your torso, your head, each of them has their own like health bar. And let's say, you get shot by a certain weapon, it might hit all the parts, it might hit only one of the parts. And if that, part of the unit health is depleted, it blows up, but
Hmm.
you can continue to function as long as your core is still intact. So it's
Okay.
like a really cool system, especially for like Super Nintendo. This is Super Nintendo times, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
I've
yeah,
got
this is just
I've got super. No, no, not Super Robot Wars. I was thinking Super Robot Wars. I've got the very first. I think it's the very first Front Mission on Super Famicom sitting on my shelf back there. I thought I had 2 copies of Front Mission on Super Famicom, but I think it's just the one actually. So
oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, but man, that game is fun. I grew up playing that game, and I cannot wait until that game gets released. Can you sense the excitement from me? I was so excited for Front. I never thought that I'd see the day where Front Mission would come back,
I
and
know.
then hopefully it sells well, and they make new games with new engine and just like make this thing work. Come on, Square Enix!
when
These
was
news. I need new Front Mission games, please.
when was the last Front Mission to come out?
I don't even remember, to tell you the truth. I don't remember. It's
Okay.
been so long. Yeah. I'll look it up. Maybe I'll look it up. Maybe I'll post it somewhere. I'll look it up. But yeah, so this also looks like it's going to be a summer release only on the Switch, and Front Mission 2 remake will be coming in the future. So that's why I'm talking about 1 specifically, because that's a summer release. We
Yeah.
don't have anything for 2. There's no no video, just that it's coming in the future. So take that as you will.
So was 2 the which console was that on? Was that also on
Yeah, it was
Famicom
on
or
Super Nintendo.
that was also Super Famicom? Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure.
Or was that so because when I mentioned that I had 1 and 2 on Super Famicom, I got a little pushback from people, and I think one of them was Gun Hazard, right? Is that technically
I know that I remember there was a Front Mission game that's basically a platformer, like Metrovania kind of game, and that was also really fun, by the
okay?
way.
Okay.
But I don't remember what that game is called. It's just so long ago. I played it when it first came out on the Super Nintendo. That's how long it's been. So I apologize for not having refreshed my memories prior to this. But
Oh, that's all
man,
right.
it's just so much fun. It's so much fun. I can't wait to just sort of, completely re 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 uh, re-experience. Is that a word?
Yeah, I think it counts as a word.
Let's make it a word. To just really experience the game again on a blank slate is of what I'm hoping to do when it comes out.
Since you have a connection to this game, let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer together real quick.
Okay,
Because
do it.
this looks like it could be good.
Oh yeah, this is great.
So it was here when I was like, okay, this looks kind of interesting. It definitely had my attention during the trailer the first time around.
Yeah, I was thinking like, I don't know, Armor Core. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Armor Core?
I thought it was Armored Core 2 as well.
And I'm like, no, Front Mission. Okay, I just reenacted my. Whoa! Front Mission 2 coming later. Okay. The joy. Yeah, so not a whole lot there.
Oh, is that the extent of that?
I think, yeah, no, I think I gave you the wrong trailer.
Shoot.
There was gameplay.
Well,
Do you want me to just look it up real quick? Or-
nah. If you want to, if we can. Okay. We don't. Yeah, let's go ahead and keep things moving
Yeah,
along
let's go.
because I'm excited to talk about this next one because I know that it is Baku's favorite game of all time.
Go
I mean,
ahead, Derek. Go ahead. I would say nothing. Go ahead.
All right, so big news for me that actually just stole the show. Like honestly, everything else just paled in comparison to the announcement that Chrono Cross, the Radical Dreamers edition, will be coming to. Well, they announced it for Switch during that Nintendo Direct, but it's coming to all platforms, and it's going to be enhanced in a few different ways. Some of which I'm on board with. Some of them I'm a little hesitant to say that I think they look good. Let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer so we can kind of I don't know, talk about what we like, what we don't like about this. I'm sure Baku's list of what he doesn't like will be very short.
This entire game is horrendous. I mean, you know what? I promised I wasn't going to be toxic about this.
You don't have to.
So I'm gonna.
Listen to that music, man.
I do love the music, though.
It is
absolutely love the music.
Yeah, Yasunori Mitsuda did such a phenomenal job here.
Yes. I think this is still like probably one of my favorite opening theme, period. All the games that have come out that I played.
Yeah, they definitely retouched all the faces here as well.
They did.
I wonder how many of the enemies they reworked.
None of them.
Oh, that was Masamune behind him there. Yeah. The character portrait art is so nicely retouched. Oh, it's so good. It looks like they might have redone it even.
They did.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's some spoilers.
Nah, it's not a spoiler if you don't have context. It's fine. So yeah, now here's also the other thing. Bringing along the Radical Dreamers along for the ride, that is so awesome.
Yeah. God, I love this theme. I love this theme.
Me too,
During
dude.
the PS1 era, like it was either this or the Legend of Mana opening. Like the two were just like competing for the #1 spot for me.
Yeah. So apparently there's a couple things about this that I like, some things that I'm not a huge fan of. I will say the thing I'm not a huge fan of with this is what they did with the background textures. I feel like the Moguri mod from Final Fantasy IX did such a really great job of upscaling some textures using like neural networks and stuff. I wish that Square Enix had done something similar with this, because I'm sure that they must have caught word of the Moguri mod by now, right?
One would hope so. I mean
that's
like their job is to make this game look good. I mean,
I know.
If you and I've heard about it,
they have to know what their competition is. And they're not going to outcompete a fan mod of a ROM that someone can download for free. Like what they've got to do is they've got to either outshine it or outconvenience it. And I feel like that's kind of what they were leaning on, is the convenience factor without trying too hard to compete with the visual fidelity that you can get through the Moguri mod. But they did also do a lot of other stuff that I really do like. So they got that painterly smudge effect on the backgrounds and stuff. And I wish if I could just turn that off and keep everything else. But you can't. But you can't.
Well, you can turn off some things.
You can turn off everything. That's the problem from what I've heard, is it sounds like these things can be turned off, but it's kind of like an all or nothing sort of deal. Because like they redid all of the character models, they did all of the textures, not just the faces. At first I was like, is that just the face? But no, that was my rose tinted glasses, because it looked the same to me, because I played this back when it came out. And sure, the PlayStation could do all those polygons, no problem at all. No, I've seen some direct comparisons on the, what was it called? There's a Twitter account called Chrono Game, I think. And they've been showing some comparisons, some before and afters and stuff, which I think is pretty cool. And there's some pretty big differences, to be sure. But yeah, it's just the smudges on the the background art is just, uh, I don't know, man. What do you think?
Well, I hate this game.
Okay. Fair.
Okay. No,
That's fair.
I've gotten that out of the way. So of course this is the remaster. It's got upgraded models and fonts. Some characters has actually been redesigned with new artwork.
Some of them, because it
And
would
actually
be,
come from the original artist
yeah.
himself who worked on it. So super awesome. Music has been upgraded by the original composer, Tatsunori Mitsuda. So that's super cool. I'm happy that they're able to retain like the original talent to come back to work on the remaster. And you can turn off the changes. I'm not sure how granular it is. I'm hoping that it is sort of like different option that you can just turn off
I really
individually.
hope so.
Yeah,
It sounds
I
like
hope so.
the things that I've been reading so far make it sound like it's really just an all or nothing sort of deal.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
hope that there
I hope
is
so. I
pushback
hope
on that.
so.
I hope that
I
the
hope
feedback
so.
they get will alter their decision, because if they are going that route, it's going to make it really tough to sell it, because there's a lot of people who feel similarly about the background texturing, smoothing and stuff.
Mhm.
I mean, worst case scenario, you're going to get a stock standard experience on your Switch, which is
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um, part of me wants to
I-
just wait though and buy it on PC,
Mhm.
because I'm sure that the Steam release will probably allow you to do a Mogori mod for that as well. You know?
Part of me thinks that they're doing this so that the community would just release a mod and they don't have to spend money developing in it.
Oh,
Is
you
is
might be
that is
right.
that too much of a conspiracy theory? Is that too much?
I don't know. I mean, okay, but listen, how hard do you think it would be for them to take the assets from? I think that there's already a Chrono Cross Moguri mod, an upscale mod. How hard
Hmm.
would it be for them to just take it and use it?
See,
It's a
that's
little
the
bit
thing.
gray area. It's a little bit gray
Yeah, it's
area,
kind of
but
gray.
it's using artwork. It's their artwork that has had a process applied to it.
Mhm.
So it's definitely derivative. I don't think, I mean, it's a messy thing, and I'm sure that fans would be absolutely pissed. Fans of the Mogori mod would be livid to see Square Enix do something like this to profit off of the hard work of individuals and modders.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I do believe that from a legal standpoint, it would be within their legal
Oh,
right
absolutely.
to do such a thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But in the court of public opinion, how legal it is hardly matters, right?
Yeah.
I would imagine it would be they would have to go through a similar situation of like just like Geofront, right? Where like it is their property, but they can do the good guy thing and just work with whoever it is who sort of like created a certain mod that has really enhanced, in that case, like a translation mod, right? If you
Yeah.
will, it's still a mod to a game, it's translation,
Very
and
true.
just work with them and implement it because fans love it so much that it's such good quality that they want to include it in the official release. So I imagine that they can do something similar to that, and fans would be appeased.
Yeah. I guess the
Yeah.
only reason I didn't immediately go there is because I don't feel like Square Enix is the kind of organization, corporation, what have you, that has the heart to do something like that for
Mhm.
fandoms. They are far more likely to send a DMCA and like take it. And I'm not
Yeah.
kidding. Like send out their cease and desist and just take down whatever competition that comes from the fandom, and then be like, this
Mhm.
is ours. I mean, that
Yeah.
feels far more in character, and I hate to say it that way, but it's, I think, very true of
Yeah.
how they tend to operate. I mean, look at Chrono Resurrection, for instance. That was a fan inspired by Chrono Trigger project that they were going to try to recreate Chrono polygonally, and
Mhm.
and that just got shut down like the day before it was going to come out.
So fast.
It
It was
was
so fast.
it was brutal.
Yeah. I just wish that corporations understand that you do have lawyers for the court of law, but you really should hire a couple more PR people for the court of public opinion. Because if you think that court of law has consequences, yeah, you also have consequences when it comes to these kind of measures, and you ought to pick a thing that gives you sort of like the least of two evils, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You got to find a balance.
Hmm.
Well, let's not tell corporations how to run their business. What do we know? We're just gamers. Okay, so this game will come out in April 7th. So mark your
Yeah,
calendar if you're interested. It's going to come out on the Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and Steam. Derek?
dude. Do you know how crazy it is? I was actually planning on playing Chrono Cross immediately following Shin Megami Tensei 5
I remember
before
you
this
talked about
announcement.
it. Yeah.
Before this was even announced. So
Hmm.
I guess that means I have a couple of months to finish up SMT 5 then, huh?
I promise I will not be toxic in your stream. I promise
Oh,
I will
don't
not
don't change for me,
be
Baku.
toxic.
It's okay.
No, I'm not changing. I'm still gonna have my opinion. I'm not gonna be toxic about it.
I got you. I got you.
Okay. We got a Live Alive remake. That was the second time where I went like, "What?"
I know.
Okay,
I
that
know.
was a reenactment. Oh my
Third
god.
time.
Oh god.
A third time,
Oh god.
actually.
Oh god. Third time for you, second time for me. Live Alive remake. Developed by Square Enix. This is the remake, not a remaster, a remake of the 1994 RPG game of the same name that was never released officially to the West until now.
Yep.
Players will travel across time, plays different main protagonists, each with their own struggles. This remake will be done in the 2D HD style, which for a lot of our viewers right now would immediately recognize the Octopath Traveler and the upcoming Triangle Strategy style.
Yep.
Looks super good. And also for a couple of you who has been following our news, also DQ3 will also be
Yes.
in this style. So Derek, you play through Life Alive. I have actually not played Life Alive.
You've
So
not
tell us
played Live
more.
Alive.
I
Okay.
have not. I have not. I have not.
So I want to say that I think also one of the biggest things to take away from this whole thing, regardless of how, if you've played it or not, we now know officially how to say Live Alive in English. Thank God, because it was live a live, live alive, live a live. It could have been anything, but
Who
now
says
we know.
Live Alive?
I never said live a live, but I did say live alive for a long time.
I would have said Live Alive. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's live alive, I guess. I suppose.
That's what the trailer said.
That's what the trailer said.
The trailer said.
So
We're
it's
sticking with it.
official. It's official.
It's official. Yep.
And I'm okay with that, I suppose. So moving on though, Live Alive is it's a really interesting kind of game that's really its own thing here. So it's really it's one of those things that I don't want to talk about too much because there is big twists at the end that are really integral to the story. I guess as vague as I can put it. Yeah, there's a big thing at the end, and it's excellent. And it is a sampler pack of different RPGs. There's a semi-tactical battle system where you have like a grid of like 5x5, I think, grid that you can, and it's sort of like a what's the word when it's not orthographic? It's what's the graphic style when it's everything's kind of at this diagonal?
Isometric.
Isometric. Thank you so much. Yeah. So it's got this kind of isometric battle system where it's like a 5x5 grid and enemies are on it and you are on it and you can like move spaces around and attack. It's kind of like, but it's not a tactical RPG because your encounters. Well, I don't think that they're random encounters. It's been a little while, but I think you can like bump into enemies and then your combat will start, or an event will trigger the start of combat and stuff, and you like move around on the thing. It's a sampler pack of different, I want to say, movie genres renditioned into a anthology of a video game of an RPG. So you have like the Wild West themed stuff. So it's kind of got a little bit of like the Magnificent Seven sort of deal going on there. You've got your feudal Japan where you play as a ninja, where you can either be like really stealthy or try to kill everybody. It's you got different options. You can play as a robot, and his quest except for like he had no combat in his quest unless you decided to play the arcade game as him, which is like just something in the room that you could do if you felt like it. It's really kind of an avant-garde sort of video game that really explored what it meant to be an RPG. And I think it told a really great story that it has some really dark points too that will be jarring. I feel like the trailer probably showed off a little bit of the zaniness that they incorporated. It's got a little bit of a humoristic flair, but it's juxtaposition with the darkness that the game contains that will really catch a lot of people off guard. And it's got a lot of people who are curious, like me, like, is Square gonna censor this? Because it's got some stuff that I will say would require probably some sort of trigger warning for people who are like, you know, afraid of
It will
triggered by
fly in the
certain things.
90s, but not in 2020. Is that one of those?
It's one of those things that Nintendo of America from 1994 never would have let it come to the United States. It's probably got some content that Sony Entertainment of America might censor in 2020. But
God, we were just talking about that today. Oh man,
But-
I hate every part of that.
But I think that Nintendo of America at this point doesn't seem to be in the business of censoring games at this point, strangely enough. So, yeah, that's great. And it's great that Live Alive is coming to all platforms. Is it all platforms or is it just Switch?
It is just the Switch.
Wow. Okay. So,
Well,
yeah, it's
now,
great that it's
maybe.
coming to Switch. Yeah, that's incredible. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey, you know
722.
what? Now that you mention it, maybe that's the reason why it's just on the Switch.
Well, it would be nice if it also came to Steam. I think it would be well received there as well.
Yeah, I mean, with the way that Octopath Traveler eventually coming to Steam, I don't think it's out of the question to think that this will eventually come to the Steam. It might
Yeah.
take a little bit of time, but
Might be a
I
timed
think,
exclusive. Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be like a time exclusive kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that is wow, you've just made this game so much more interesting for me. I am definitely going to try to day one this. So this is
Definitely
gonna
do.
come out in July 22nd, so mark your calendar.
And physical copies are coming out, boys and gals. Standalone item for $45. I do believe.
No, so that
Oh wait. Oh, that's
so
different. That's different.
Oh no, that's a different thing. So hold on a sec. So Live Alive Collector's Edition in Japan actually includes a full board game. Can we take a look at our screen really quick?
Yeah, I can show you your screen. Here we go.
Yeah. I just want to share this picture only. So you know, just to give you a picture of what the Japanese limited edition version looks like, and only in Japan. It comes with a tote bag, 2 soundtracks, the Steel Titan model kit, which is right here, and you know, some collector box, right? So
Now
it's
you
pretty cool.
say-
That tabletop game looks really cool. Not gonna
As-
lie.
Now you say it's only in Japan. Do we know?
Yes.
Could it possibly be multi-language?
Probably not. Probably not. And I think part of the reason why that particular thing is not available in the rest of the world is probably because they don't want to go through the trouble of translating the tabletop game. And also maybe in part because of the whole like, you know, international shipping right now is insane.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know, but like, man, shipping costs is crazy right now. It's been crazy since COVID, really. So, I can see why they might not make this available.
Mhm.
But don't fret because if you really like the Steel Titan model kit, yours truly has dug in, and I found the kit available for pre-order for $45 at the Square Enix site, the Square Enix store. So if for those who live in North America anyway, I haven't checked Europe, so I apologize. But for those of you who live in North America, you can go to the Square Enix NA store, and you can get it for $45 US for that model kit. So you can just get part of it.
Yeah.
And I just want to share, like, there's a similar experience with Trials of Mana. When that came out, Japan had this whole collector edition. You know, the rest of the world did not, but they did, you know, release the figures and the soundtrack as standalones. So I kind of built my own limited edition by buying the soundtrack and then buying the the little figures that comes with the limited edition. So
Yeah.
there was that. The only thing that I didn't get was like the collector's box, and I'm just like, whoopee doo, I don't care.
Yeah.
So with some luck, maybe you can build your own collector's edition. So stay tuned. If
Yeah.
anything changes, we'll let you know.
And if for some reason it doesn't get an official US physical release, PlayAsia will almost certainly have a release of it. I'm sure of it, just based on
Yeah.
like everything else that they do, with the various Final Fantasy re-releases and everything. There's no way this isn't getting one. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. PlayAsia would definitely have that. I've been buying from PlayAsia for years, so PlayAsia sponsor us, please.
dude, that would be so
Um,
rad.
yeah. But I've shot for them for years. They would definitely have it. And just remember that they probably will have a language option. So if you get the Japanese version, you can probably play in English anyway. I don't know. Speculation. Don't quote me on this.
Yeah.
But yeah. But if you got any question, feel free to ask. We're happy to help you. Just get the game that you want. Like we're all here. We're all friends. We're trying to help each other. Get the best experience for our bucks. So don't be afraid to ask.
That's right.
Okay.
All right.
Moving on. We've got EarthBound and EarthBound Beginnings. Derek,
Oh man.
that's a you.
Earthbound and Earthbound Beginnings is one of those things that I was really excited when I first saw it because it's Earthbound and it's Earthbound Beginnings. And then I remembered I already own them on everything. And now, in order to get them, if I want to play them on my Switch, I'll have to sign up for that subscription service. And you don't actually own them, you just have them available in the subscription service. And it's one of those things where it's like, yes! And then I was like,
Wait a minute. No, I thought these are digital versions that you buy. You do own them.
do you?
Yeah, I think these are digital games. These are not cloud games.
I'm pretty sure that they are. Just like how everything else on because Nintendo does not have right now a virtual console of any sort. They just have their subscription service to Nintendo, whatever it's called, Nintendo Online, Switch Online. I don't know.
No, I thought I think these are just digital copies.
Is it?
I mean, you could definitely buy digital copies of games. Yeah, I mean, Pokemon like Brilliant, Diamond, and Pearl, they have digital versions of the game. I'm pretty sure this is not on the cloud. Pretty sure.
I'm gonna check
It
my
would
Switch
say
right now.
Nintendo Cloud. I'm looking it up right now. You've got me curious about that. I'm pretty sure. Well, actually, Switch Online service. Yeah, I don't know. It's just say Switch Online.
Mm-hmm.
I was so sure that this is digital copy. Are
Yeah.
they crazy? Why would they do this?
Because they don't want to sell you something once. They want to sell it to you month after month after month.
God, I
That's
hate
that's what everybody is doing. It's what all the cool kids are doing as far as like, Xbox has their Xbox Game Pass, Sony has PlayStation Now, and Nintendo has their Switch Online. And that's
Yeah, it looks like it's Switch Online. I stand corrected. It is Nintendo Switch Online. Oh God.
I know. So like I said, it took a lot of the wind out of my sails when I realized that. Because I would buy it, but they don't want to sell it to you once. They want that recurring payment. And I kind of get it, because I mean it does bring you a lot of other value if you're interested in all of the other games that they have. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be yours anymore. They don't want to sell you it once,
Yeah.
That's really what it just comes down to. Because
Yeah.
why would they sell you it once for a total of $15 if they could milk $20 out of you for the first month, and then you forget to cancel your subscription after you finish the game in the first month, and then you get charged a second time, and then you're like, well, while I have the service, I may as well play Mario Kart online with some friends. And then it goes on a little bit longer, and you're like, oh, you know what, maybe I'll, maybe this can be a thing, I can just play some games a little bit, I can explore it. And then you forget that you have it, and then 5 months later you realize you spent over $140 so far this year on just trying to play a game, and then you cancel that subscription service, and then Nintendo's already made 10 times the value that they would have off of you in the first place. And then they'll get to do it again when the new platform comes out, whatever the new Switch is going to be, Switch 2, Super Switch, whatever. They get to do it again. That's the idea. That's the point.
These kind of like anti-consumer tactics just like this does not sit well with me. It's just
yeah,
does
I
not
know.
sit well.
It does not sit well with me either, but that's just how it is.
Well, we ought to not encourage it. So those of you guys watching right now, vote with your wallets always. By the way, I am reading chat right now. Everyone's like, NSO is not cloud. I stand corrected. Thank you.
Yeah. So if you guys happen to have Nintendo Switch Online, if you happen to have it already because it's a service that you want to use and you like, and if you want to experience Mother, EarthBound, then definitely play it, because that'll help show Nintendo that we do still have a vast interest in the Mother and EarthBound series. But if you don't have those things, I wouldn't let this be the straw that breaks your camel's back.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, since I'm looking at chat right now, how do I sound today? Is this loud enough? Let me know. This is my personal question is because it seems like the last two show wasn't quite loud enough. So let us know if I'm finally able to be heard. I would like to be heard. Thank you.
I can hear you loud and clear, but I hope everybody else at home can too.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just so weird. Like we've done sound tests prior to the show, like for hours, and it sounds great, and then it goes on YouTube and somehow it just like loses all volume, and it's crazy.
I think part of it has to be the fact that you also kind of get animated, you move around a little bit, you get excited when we talk about things like Chrono Cross, and you're just like, yes, you know, and you know, a little bit of that movement around kind of changes the dynamics a little bit. Okay, people are saying that you sound good. They love the sound of your voice, Baku.
Really? That's the first I've ever heard of that. It's usually like, God, you sound terrible. Just stop talking, please. Thank you. Love you all. Okay, yeah. By the way, just a reminder, if you guys do super chat, we'll read it at the end of the video. So we're not reading it right away. Don't worry. We got like a super chat time right at the very end. So you want to throw some bits. No, sorry, not bits. This is not Twitch. You want to throw some at our way, you know, for your super chat. It's gonna be towards the end of the video.
That's right.
Okay. So the thing that got me most excited, can we talk about it now?
Oh,
are we okay to talk about it? I mean, you had your Chrono Cross. I mean, I had this.
Before we do, did you want to mention, because you did put this in the docket as well, because you sent me this video that it warmed my heart a little bit.
Oh, yes. Oh, I almost forgot about that. Yes, please play that video. So we don't have a trailer for you, but we do have a reaction from the series creator, Shigesato Itoi, who, for those who don't know, is the creator of the Mother, or as you know, the EarthBound series.
マザー2とマザーがいよいよ任天堂スイッチオンラインで遊べるようになりました。
This just made me so dang happy.
かというと、僕も実はこの日を待っていました。どういう気持ちだったか、ちょっと聞いてみますか。
How did you feel?
こんな気持ちでした。
Yeah.
He's so excited.
いや、それは嬉しいですよ。前から僕マザーをやったんですよ、子供の時とか、最近もやってるんですとかっていう人に会うたびに、なんか友達になったような気がしてすごく嬉しかった。で、やってないんだけどどうやったらいいんですかっていう人に会うと、残念だねってこう軽く言ってたんですけど、残念だなと思ってました。その意味で今回みんなができるようになります。どうでしょうかね。もうひ孫ぐらいの人と友達になれるわけですから、嬉しくないはずがないわけで、この気持ちを押し殺して今日はこのニュースを皆さんにお届けしました。お届けっていうか、直接お届けしました。
He made a pun with the direct. He made a pun with the direct.
Of course he did. I love it.
Oh my god. He's so great.
Shigesato Itoi he's a national treasure of Japan.
He really is. I hope you guys enjoy that video.
Yeah.
I just found it out of nowhere by accident when I was reading through Japanese media, as I do.
It's one of those things that just warms my soul to seem so excited, because like I know the story of Shigesato Itoi, and like so he like how it all started was he had some sort of surgery early on, and it kind of knocked him on his back for a while, and he found solace by playing like Dragon Quest and stuff on the Famicom back in the day. And he's like, everybody probably already knows a lot about Shigesato Itoi and how he's just like this renowned, almost like Mark Twain-esque kind of like writer and like everything over in Japan. And he actually, after that, he approached Nintendo, and he talked to was it, gosh, who all did he talk to? I think it was Creative Mario, what was his name?
I
mean,
I have his face, like, I see his face in my head, but I don't remember his name.
Me too.
Chat will tell us. But yeah.
Chat will be like, how did you not know his name? I am sorry. Miyamoto, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so it was Miyamoto and Iwata. He talked to them both about it, and at first, like, they're kind of like, oh, I don't know, we'll talk about it, and he left, and he was like just distraught because it sounded like they completely brushed him off. But then after some time, they actually reached back out to him, and they're like, actually, let's talk more about that game. And
isn't it nice back then where you can just like reach out to them, say, hey, I have a game idea, let's talk about it. Like,
I know,
just like that. Oh man,
isn't it crazy how back in the day, like it's weird, we're further apart yet more interconnected than ever before. Because if I wanted to, I could shout out into the void at Miyamoto via like Twitter or something, and I mean, like, I technically I've sent him a message. It's that easy, but at the same time, there's this cacophony of everything going on all of Twitter, and it's almost impossible to be heard unless you have an army of people tweeting, liking, and retweeting your comments and stuff. So it's like we're closer than ever, but the chasm is getting wider. It's weird, right?
It is absolutely weird. Yeah.
Okay, so you wanted to take a look at something else, though, right?
Yeah, I'm still taking it back with that video. I completely forgot about it. It's just this I don't know. There's this childlike innocence to him too, and it's just like, I don't know. This man is, like you said, is the national treasure. Okay, well, something else I was really excited about. That is in Chrono Cross. Thank you. Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And I know Derek feels nothing for this game title because he hasn't played it yet. Twitter time, everybody.
Hey, to be fair, nobody has played Xenoblade Chronicles 3 yet. Except for the game developers. But
we play 1 and 2. And
that's right.
And you could be part of that group too, for those who do not know, this is the third installment, as you would imagine, to the very popular Xenoblade Chronicles series, and it's finally announced with the Nintendo Direct. It was actually hinted, rumored that this will come out soon. So I think by the time everyone saw it, like, they were less surprised, but also completely shocked with what they saw, because I don't think anyone had imagined that 3 would be whatever we saw on the trailer.
Do you want to take another look at that trailer?
Yes, please. Let's take a look at that trailer.
All right.
Fighting in order to live, and living to fight.
Yep, it was when I saw the glowing swords, I was like, yep, that's Xenoblade, all right.
Yep.
That looks like the Monado.
Tell me, what would possess you to side with them?
We're fighting because there are enemies to kill.
I refuse to believe you're him.
I knew it. I saw this coming.
You're not enemies.
So I have no context. Is there anybody that you see so far?
You could
That
try to move
rings
forward
bells?
How can our lives be so
No, but you
They're
do
not your
see
friends
different
anymore.
races
They're
of
his
people
fuel.
and different skills and powers that draws from two different games. I'll explain a little bit after the trailer, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the only way
You
you're
will
gonna
eventually
defeat the
see
real
a
enemy.
character or two.
Whatever life is lost, I won't let you shoulder it all alone. What good filling up these flickering clocks in our eyes? It will never replace the friends we
Oh
got.
god, I saw the little weird things.
To go.
The little weird thing.
The little weird furry things. Egg people.
Yeah, there you go. Those are the two characters.
That's the protagonists of the game. It showed them. God, that is gorgeous.
That is beautiful.
Is that a dragon like face in the background?
Yeah, so I think this is.
Is that
you
a
know,
spoiler?
No. I think starting from where they show the two masked ladies, I think that's where people were like really losing their collective minds. So just to explain a little bit, so as we go into the trailer, you kind of saw the main character. Actually, we got the names now. The main character's name is let's see. The main character's name is Noah with the ponytail.
Mhm.
He's wielding a blade that's very like Tron like, and like as you say, it looks kind of like the Monado, which indicates that he would come from sort of the Xenoblade Chronicle, oh sorry, not Xenoblade, yeah, it's the Xenoblade Chronicles 1 universe.
Okay.
He's joined by his friend Lance and I believe another girl named Uni. So they're from a certain nation, right?
Yeah.
And I believe the nation is called Kevs, where they use so these mechanical technology and incorporate into the army and combat vehicles and what have you. So like just machines.
I mean, I saw
right?
tanks and stuff like on the horizon, and I don't recall a whole lot, but I feel like machines are one of those things that when I did play of Xenoblade 1, they weren't super common.
Well, they were actually the antagonists.
Yeah.
But I think they sort of like, at the conclusion of Xenoblade 1, I think they sort of like join hands and, live in harmony. And then you have the Agnes, which uses these ether and spiritual sort of energy. And then you start seeing this girl with the cat ears. That's a certain race in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And you see these certain like, stones that's embedded in them. I won't say what they are, but it's indicative of Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
I
So
know
I
a
think
little
fans
bit.
starts putting one and one
Okay.
together.
I might know
right?
I might know a little bit about Xenoblade 2, but I guess for anybody who thinks that might be a spoiler, I won't talk about that. But I'm pretty sure I know what it means.
Yeah. I'm trying to avoid spoilers as much as I can.
I gotcha.
Yeah. So it's indicative of that game. So I think that's where folks are starting to go like, whoa, what is this? So for anyone who is interested, the cat girl's name is Mio, and she is joined by
Her name is Meow.
Mio. Yes, that is. You know what? Now that I think about it, that's probably how it's pronounced. She'll be joined with two friends, the Tyon and Senna, and I believe those are the 6 playable characters that has been introduced in the trailer. And they hail from both worlds. So we're starting to see that maybe the two worlds are sort of combined somehow. We don't know how, and that's part of the mystery. And you see the two masked ladies, and they, because they're masked, like you can't really see what their face, but they have certain characteristics about them that indicates that they're certain important characters from 1 and 2.
Okay.
And it seems like they're at odds to each other, and they're commanding these two nations against one another. We don't know how, we don't know why, but that adds to the intrigue.
Were these previously thought to be like 2 different worlds between Xenoblade 1 and 2?
2 different worlds, completely separated. Well, again, just
Hmm.
don't want to spoil, but
Sure,
let's just
sure.
you can look at them as two completely separate worlds. Yeah, without
Okay.
going into details. I know some fans are like in there like, no, actually, well, actually, I do know. I just don't want to go into details.
I gotcha.
So
I gotcha.
try not to
Thank you.
spoil people in the chat, okay? Please be considerate.
Oh, I should have muted the music. I'm sorry.
We gotta contain the excitement.
Speaking of music, wasn't Yasunori Mitsuda involved in some of the music production here?
I think this man was just really busy because he was doing Chrono Cross like remaster and now this. Like,
know.
how does he have time for anything?
By working himself to exhaustion and putting himself in hospitals, of course.
Which I'm pretty sure he's done many times.
Yes. Yes, he has, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, well, he's mentioned actually. Well, so actually, it wasn't him. It was the executive director Tetsuya Takahashi, who's mentioned in an official Nintendo blog that even though there are a lot of hints in the visual representation in the trailer, it is actually, auditory. So the music actually gives you some hints that I think he's seen some reactions. He's not really seeing people reacting to the music as much as he thinks we should. So I think for people who are, particularly tuned to music and what have you, maybe take a second listen and tell us what you're hearing. Because I'm not like a really big music person.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
I
but
hear
don't
it and I go,
analyze
ooh,
it.
pretty.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, if you got that like musical like analysis kind of mind, like let us know if you're a fan of the game. Like take a second listen. Um, I do want to mention one more thing, and that is you mentioned, hey, is that like a dragon sort of thing towards the end? The giant sword actually comes from the first world, and then the
Yeah.
dragon looking creature comes from the second world, and the fact that they coexist in the same
Okay.
plane definitively tell you that the world have merged.
Okay.
So
Okay.
for fans of the first and second game, you can definitely expect to play this game to find out what happened after the conclusion of the first and second game.
That's exciting stuff.
Yeah,
I do
super excited.
I do need to play Xenoblade. At the same time, I've been like, man, I've really got to get through Chrono Cross, and I've got this hankering again. I hate to say it out loud, but I kind of I got this thing at this itch where I'm like, man, I really need to play some Trails of Cold Steel at some point. So I mean, I know,
man, no,
maybe
we don't talk about Cold Steels on stream. We don't
I know, but I'm just being pulled in so many different directions. I want to play them all. I want to play them all.
I know. I'm with you. I am almost done with East. I am only in Trails like the third. I haven't even started third. I just finished SC. So oh my god, I have so many
The
things.
third, man, it's so good.
Yeah. I've heard and I've made plans to play it, so it
Ooh.
will come. But
Sweet.
I want to get through all my East games.
I'll definitely be there for that. All right. You want to keep moving on?
And Azure. Yes. Okay. So in the spirit of trying to wrap up our coverage for Nintendo Direct, here are some honorable mentions. Mario Strikers. Actually, no, before I do that, sorry. Xenoblade
Sure.
Chronicles 3 coming out September this year. No no exact date, but September sometime. So hopefully they won't delay. Okay.
It's just a half a year away.
Just a half year away. So squeeze in XC1, XC2 immediately. Honorable mentions goes to Mario Strikers Battle League coming out in June 10th of this year. Looks super fun. Splatoon coming out in summer of this year. Also looks super fun. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. If you have been online recently with Kirby swallowing a card, that's where that came from.
That one
March
actually looks pretty
25th.
cool. Yep.
Oh, I'm definitely getting that for my nephews.
Yeah.
Day one, I'm just gonna get it for my nephews.
Let me know if it's an RPG, if I need to buy it or not. I'm guessing
it is definitely not an RPG, but it still looks really fun. So you want to just get away from RPG for a little bit off stream. Maybe that could be a fun game just to relax. Klonoa Fantasy Ravine series, which includes Klonoa 1 and 2, is a classic from PS1. Will come out July 8th, 2022.
Looks great.
And last but not least, Getsufumaden, the Undying Moon, is available right now with like these sort of traditional Japanese arts, sort of aesthetics on what I believe is probably a Metrovania kind of game. So if you're into Metrovania, I think this is a good game for you. So please check it out.
All right.
Alrighty.
So that brings
Now,
us to a game I was kind of excited for. And I tried to tease everybody about it at the beginning of my last video, kind of recapping a lot of Nintendo Direct. And I feel like a lot of people just didn't stick around for it because there was like, I didn't miss anything you talked about. I'm like, did you know about LOOP8? I didn't hear anything about LOOP8 until this morning. Oh, yeah. So I guess I spoiled it.
Yep.
Guys, LOOP8 looks so good. LOOP8 is what we're going to be talking about here for a second. And Baku, as our resident know-it-all about Japanese everything, I think that's your certified title, right?
Yes.
No,
I think the certified title is Weep Overlord, but please.
So you have the skivvy here. You have some insider knowledge by insider I mean like Japanese, so you know what they're talking about. You got some insider knowledge of what these moon runes mean. So let's go ahead and take a look at this trailer in a second here, and you can maybe help shed some light on your hypothesis that you shared with me about why maybe it wasn't in our direct.
Okay, yeah, sure. So do you want me to give some overview before you do the video, or are you doing the video? Okay.
Let's go ahead and do the video real quick, just because this thing looks really dang pretty, and I want to take a look at it real quick.
Context, right?
Yeah. You're gonna be our live translator, right?
Oh, I didn't know I had to do that. Do you want to go back?
No. I'm just kidding.
Actually, would you mind going back just a little bit?
Oh.
Is that okay? Sorry, like right as they started talking.
I kind of cannot actually because of the way that this works. So.
Oh no, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, these monsters called Kegai.
Yeah.
They are fighting against these Kegai. This is the was it the Kakeru system?
So you were telling me that you feel like some of the reasons this probably wasn't shown off in our direct was because some concepts that it relies on maybe aren't super easy to localize.
So okay, so let's talk a little bit, right? So this game is actually part of the Japanese version of the Nintendo Direct presentation, so that's why we didn't get it, because this game is Japan only for now. It is a turn-based RPG, and it's developed by Marvelous, and they've coined this to be a juvenile RPG, which I don't think they understand how weird that sounds in English. But maybe it's like a translation thing. Like maybe they said like a juvenile RPG in Japanese, and then it just translates oddly in English. But that's part of the problem, which we've alluded to. And that is, things being lost in translation. Okay.
So this is so Marvelous is telling us this is in fact a JRPG.
Get it? JRPG. So the story surrounds a teenager named Nini, who has moved to a seaside town of Ashihara. It looks very peaceful, but there are constant threats actually from these creatures known as Kegai. So those are the monsters that you saw. They're called Kegai.
Yeah.
And basically the main cast has to fend them off and just like discover hidden truths. Kind of your standard RPG affair.
They gotta reach out to the truth. Okay.
Yep. Now so this game appears to have some kind of a time management system, maybe similar to Persona. What they have showcased is something called Kakeru system, and that involves characters having different actions and moods and desires throughout the day, right? So you're gonna have to like really think about how you choose your dialogues to advance towards multiple different endings. But that's like sort of like the major major sell point, if you will, that differentiates it from just being a plain turn-based RPG that looks pretty. the problem with that I told Derek, and the reason why I think it's probably going to be a Japan exclusive, at least for now, is because there's a lot of things that may not translate culturally and in terms of language, like calling a thing that's juvenile RPG. Like again, it probably meant something else in Japanese altogether, but sounds kind of weird, right? So when your choices, when your gameplay depends on you interpreting, these answers and making the choices, they have to be more localized, right? So it's not just oh, well, we'll localize it to the best of our ability. The gameplay demands that it needs to be very well localized.
Yeah. It
And
can't
they
just be
may not.
it can't just be
Yeah.
transliterated. Like you can't just
Nope.
take a literal translation of oh, this character says that they're in a happy mood, therefore you have to do this. It's like one of those things where
Mhm.
you have to it's an interconnected web of emotions and activities and stuff
Yeah.
based on what I understand of what you've described here.
Correct.
So you'd have to
you know,
change the whole
they're gonna have to
framework.
play test it. They're gonna have to be like, well, does this make sense? Does this will a player to choose this answer lead to this conclusion? Would that frustrate them? Is that within the expectation? Yes or no? Can we change the word? Is there any way to word it at all? I think that's a lot of consideration when it comes to localizing this particular title. So I think that's why it's going to be a little bit more challenging.
Mhm.
But I'm hopeful that they will be able to bring this to the West at some point. So this game will launch this year in Japan, but there is no news of localizations as of right now.
Now this was made by Marvelous, and that name sounds extremely familiar. Do you know anything off the top of your
Marvelous-
head that they also have worked on in the past?
Marvelous works on a lot of games, but I can't name anyone off the top of my head. I'm looking it up right now. Let me see.
Yeah.
I bet I'm gonna feel really
Rune
stupid. I'm
Factory.
like, oh, of course.
Rune Factory, Arc
Rune
Rise
Factory.
Fantasia.
Okay,
Valhalla
Sen and Kagura.
Knights.
It's a bunch of games. Did you? Wait, hold on. Sorry, Harvest Moon. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's a bunch of games that I don't really play. That's why.
Okay.
But I know they've made a lot of games.
Yeah, like I
so
can hear the guy,
yeah.
I can hear the voice, Marvelous Entertainment, like from the splash screen. I can hear it in my head right now. I know I've played something from them, but I just I couldn't place it for a moment.
Yeah, I can hear from chat right now. They're just screaming at us like Rune Factory, duh. Do you even RPG?
Truth is no, we don't.
Yeah, no, but they're definitely not like a fly by night company. They've been
Yeah.
around and they've made many great things. So, but yeah, so I'm super excited. This is definitely like an original IP that they're gonna push, and I hope that they can bring it to the West. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I definitely got a vibe of this is sort of like a response to Persona. Did you get that vibe at all? Like having the ability to understand what was going on? Because
Maybe not, only because I'm not as in tune with Persona as I may like. So
Okay.
I wouldn't know what they would be speaking against or speaking to.
I mean, like I just mean like it seems like I mean they've got a social life outside of whatever demon fighting things that they do during the night, and there's a lot of looking like conversations that take place and social links from Persona kind of tie it. So it feels very much like a sort of response to that, but I don't know if I guess we'll just have to wait and see what it looks like when it comes out. But
Yeah, maybe I will get the Japanese version and just play that and let you know how that goes.
that'd be pretty cool.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that concludes our sort of Nintendo Direct coverage. What is glaringly missing from a lot of fans who's just really been waiting for words is a little game called Bayonetta 3. Have you heard of Bayonetta before, Derek?
nope.
Definitely, that would never heard of that.
No, never heard of that. No. Yeah, a lot of people were also not only where's Bayonetta 3, but they were also where's Zelda, Breath of the Wild 2, and
Yeah, Breath of the Wild 2. Yeah.
there was a lot of things. A lot of people went into that with with expectations, and that's their first problem. Don't go into a Nintendo Direct expecting things, and you'll never be disappointed.
Yeah, we didn't expect any of these JRPGs, and boy,
No.
no one did. Maybe Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Like I said, like there were some leaks just right before, but Live Alive, did anyone expect it Live Alive? I didn't think so.
But yeah,
yeah.
Bayonetta 3 though, that's something that I think I had heard a lot of people talking about wanting. And I do, I have heard about it. It's got some, Platinum Games worked on that, and they also did Nier Automata, is that right?
They did do Nier Automata, correct? Yeah.
So
Nier Automata, they worked on what is it, Astral Chain,
Yep.
which I haven't played yet. It's in the backlog, among other games. So some industry news for you all. Regarding Platinum Games, because the fans were so disappointed not seeing Bayonetta 3 talk about it. Actually, in an IGN Japan interview, the Platinum Games VP actually gave some updates to the game. That number one, it will, the development's in good progress. It will still be released sometime towards the end of the year. It's going to feature some new types of gameplay, whatever that means, and it won't be made with any restrictions from Nintendo, which is great news for everyone to hear. And there's absolutely no change in plan as far as releasing towards the end of the year, as mentioned. So hopefully, if you have any Bayonetta 3 fans out there, the game is coming. So
yeah.
hopefully in the next Nintendo Direct or two, you'll hear more about it.
And when you said that they're working on this without any restrictions from Nintendo, that just again speaks to what we talked about earlier. Nintendo's right now just not in the business of worrying about censoring games, which is surprising.
Fantastic. It is fantastic. I don't know. I've asked this before.
I
don't
never
know
thought
who.
we'd recover from the Wii. The GameCube and then the Wii and then the Wii U. I was like, I didn't think that there was any recovering from that sort of like they tried to put themselves into that Disney brand kind of box.
Yeah.
And with their own games, they certainly still have, but then they've opened up the console itself, which is nice.
I think that's what they ought to do. Like they're doing it perfect. They should keep the whole Disney image for their first party games. Not maybe not Fire Emblem, but this thing gets dark. But it's pretty wholesome, right? Kirby, Mario, you would never expect anything but wholesomeness coming from that, and that's perfectly fine. And then just open the console up to other developers to do what they need to do to tell their story. Like I think that's perfect. Sony, on the other hand, I don't know who keeps complaining to these company. Like who keeps complaining to them to make this an issue? I don't understand. I don't know. But so more news from Platinum Games because boy, we're not stopping with one. In the same interview, the new CEO, who actually just became the CEO of Platinum Games in January, Atsushi Inaba, he explained that the Spellbound creator Hideki Kamiya is really wanting to work on Spellbound again. Spellbound, by the way, is a game that was supposed to be, I think, an Xbox, exclusive title that got dropped. So he's reaching out to Phil Spencer. He said, "I want to reach out to Phil Spencer directly. Let's work on this game." So for anyone who was excited about Scalebound, maybe it will come back. If Phil wants to work with Platinum Games, they're ready to pick Spellbound back up. Then in a separate interview with Famitsu, Inaba said that the Platinum Games will shift away from one-off, well-designed titles and towards creating games that can be enjoyed and loved for a long period of time, quote unquote. So he has cited the upcoming MMO style action game Babylon's Fall, which we'll talk about probably in a later show. And that game is going to be the first game that Platinum Game will develop with that philosophy in mind. Which for me is kind of a disappointing news.
Yeah.
But we were kind of talking about like, why would they charge you once when they can charge you multiple times, right? It kind of goes hand in hand with that whole thing. And I love Platinum Games. They make super well done, highly polished titles, and then this. it's not welcoming news for me personally. But hey, if you're into this stuff, congratulations. Platinum Game is in the market.
Yeah, that's that did sound, even on the face of it, I was like, that sounds really not good. Um,
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I mean, moving away from one-off well-designed titles and more toward one-off poorly designed titles. Yay!
No, well designed, but that can be enjoyed for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy Near Automata just fine. Thank you. Just give me more of those, please. Like, what are
Yeah.
you doing? But yeah, so hopefully, again, if you don't like that kind of policy, you can always vote with your wallet, and maybe they'll listen, or not. You know, because we see things like Genshin Impact making ungodly amount of money. So we'll see. We'll see how this turns out.
All right. So there was another big bout of news that's been coming out here pretty lately here, right? With the Wonder Festival, right? Did you want to
Okay,
talk about
so
that?
Okay, so I promise you all that it's gonna be more than Nintendo Direct. You know, for anyone who's like here for Nintendo Direct, you know, that's done, but stick around because we're gonna talk about some fun news that aren't Nintendo Direct. We're gonna talk about something called a Wonder Festival, which is a convention that happens in Japan. Do you know anything about Wonder Festival, Derek?
I know absolutely nothing about it, except for what
Great.
you've told me in the past. So just lay it on me right now. Tell me a little
Okay.
bit about it.
So Wonder Festival is a semi-annual event that focuses on garage kits, pre-painted figures, and also showcasing upcoming items from major toy makers. But you can think of it in layman terms, you can think of it as a convention for figures. And the reason why I bring this up is because, you know, we're gonna talk about some upcoming figures that you can get from your favorite games. So, do you want to switch over to my screen there, Derek?
You betcha.
Okay,
Ooh,
so
look
first
at
up we got
that.
Shion from Tales of Arise by Spirit Tail. I promise you, none of these will be you know, not safe.
Right.
They're
The ones
all
that we will
yes.
showcase are
I
totally fine.
have
If you stray away from the pages that Baku shows you, your mileage
you
will
may vary,
vary.
yes,
Will
yes, but
vary.
I've sift through and made sure that this is YouTube safe. So, let's talk about it. So we got Shion again, from Tales of Arise, looking gorgeous. This version of Shion is called a SWAV uh collaboration version, and this is definitely coming. Spirit Tail is owned by Taito, which is a large company, so you can definitely guarantee, you know, the quality of this. Um, and then next up, we've got. I've only gotten a couple because I've sifted through like maybe a couple hundreds of figures. So you
And these
got
were
to
the
understand there's a
only,
lot.
yeah, and these were the only safe for work ones. No,
I think a
I'm just
third of
kidding.
them. Well, I think a third of them is probably not safe for work, and among those other 2/3, you've got like mobile games, anime. That, you know, I'm trying to ease you guys into this hobby, so I'm just gonna show you ones that comes from like games that you guys already know and love.
Yeah, I
So
got you.
as you can, yeah. So this is Sonic, Sonic and Shadow the Hedgehog figure.
Hmm.
That is made by S Fire, and it looks super cool. For those who are Sonic and Shadow the Hedgehog fans, like this may be, you know, one of those collector items that you're definitely gonna want to get. Um, I did want to show off my girl Miku, because as anyone who's been to my stream knows, I'm a big Miku fan. This is coming from her rhythm game, Project Sekai, which is done by Eastream. So I can expect this thing to be probably a couple $100, which I'm probably not gonna get. Not
Yeah.
gonna lie, yeah, I don't have that kind of money. And then we've got a couple of figures from Good Smile that I want to showcase, and for some reason it is stuck on Miku right now.
Oh, that's all right.
Uh,
Do I need to switch to just you and me talking for a second while you pull that one up?
oh no. Sorry,
Oh,
I see
okay.
why I see why there's an issue. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
So a couple of things. So Good Smile Company is a huge figure company. So they most company release like maybe 4 or 5 figures half a year. These are all the things that they've got in stores. So as you can see, I've sifted through quite a bit. Particularly of notice is they've got some Elden Ring figure coming. They got Maiden in Black from Demon Souls.
Oh, cool.
And they've also got Splendid Armor from Demon Souls. And we will link all of these in the description for your viewing pleasure. So in case you're like, you're scrolling by too fast, I'm not seeing all of these. No worries. You can browse them at your own leisure later on. We also got a Aloy. Is it Alloy from Horizon Zero Dawn?
No idea. Never played it.
So Horizon is just like an amazing game.
That's what I hear.
I know a lot of people who loves it. But let's go back to JRPGs, right? So we got Persona 2, Nendroy.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you think that
that's
they would
that's
make
Tatsuya, eh?
that is Tatsuya, yes. So if you think that they are forgetting about Persona 2 and they're not going to milk money out of that, you're poorly mistaken, because they're still going to make money out of that.
He's like $50, right? Oh, that's Maya.
Maya Amano from Persona 2.
Yeah. So how much are
and
these?
Nendroids are about $50 to $60 depending on the accessories that comes with it, but they're
Okay.
super high quality and posable.
I've heard the phrase Nendroid before. What exactly is a Nendroid?
What Nendroids, as you can see, is not exactly a scale figure, and I can explain what scale figure is, but basically
Sure.
these are sort of like you can think of them as Funko Pop, but way better. And
They're like the chibi
posable.
version of the.
Chibi
they are.
version of the main.
They are posable.
They are posable. Yeah.
Okay.
They're posable. So you see these joints right here. Like I don't know if you can see like the gap in the hand. Like you can probably like switch the hands out. You can sort of like move the legs around a little bit.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not as posable as like a larger figure, but there's a certain amount of like posableness to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Figma on the other hand. So these are known as Figmas. Like these are a lot more posable. They're more like an action figure.
Okay, so these are
and you
like
can-
fully articulated then, because I've got a Figma of Link. I think
Yes.
that's a really super popular one to have.
Yes.
And they are like completely like change out the hands, change all the poses.
Yes,
How many points of
yes.
articulation generally? A bunch. I'm guessing a bunch.
A bunch, yeah, a bunch. It's like I can't even count, but you can see it. Like all the joints are movable. So all your standard joints are movable. Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. We've got a Demi Fiend from SMT3,
Yep.
and we've also got Daido
Yeah.
from Devil Summoner. So I know a lot of you SMT fans are super excited for these. If you're a collector, these things are coming. Speaking of the game that Derek never played, Undertale, for any of you guys who are interested, Undertale actually making Nendroid is a really cool collaboration, I think.
I was gonna say
And
it's pretty
years
cool. It
in the
made it
making.
across the seas to
Yeah.
Japan. Is it
Yeah.
pretty big in Japan?
I think so.
Big
Yeah.
enough, I guess, huh? Yeah.
Well, we can hop a little bit into anime territory. We've got
FMA,
Fullmetal
yeah.
Alchemist. Look at that.
That is nice.
gorgeous. Yeah, a couple $100 probably. Yeah, figure collecting is not a cheap hobby. But hey, if you love the series, this could be like a centerpiece to your room, right?
Sure.
So yes, again, we'll be posting this link for you, for your viewing pleasure, in the description, so you can look at it, at your own leisure. So those are some figures that has been showcased in the Wonder Festival 2022. But I also want to talk to you about another event that took place actually over the past weekend, called the Kotobukiya Collection. And this, I think a lot of people are super stoked about this one. So let's take a look. There are two particular things that I think you guys might be interested in. This one is Darkstalkers Lilith. Have you guys ever played Darkstalkers? It's like a fighting game from like the 90s. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I've
this
played
is
some of that.
Yeah, so this is the Bisojo figure for Lilith. This is barely passable, I think.
She's in.
She's fully clothed.
Yeah, she's in a swimsuit. It's fine.
Now, for anyone who's wondering, like, why are they completely gray? Do you have to paint them myself? So whenever they have these figures that are in gray, is usually like still planning. They're still gonna
Oh.
tweak things here and there. They're gonna figure out what color paint to use and how to produce it. So it is gonna be painted. It is gonna be fully colored. No worries. By the time it's actually fully available, it's gonna be fully painted. So
Okay, because I was actually kind of like, oh, that's really cool that you get to paint your own, but I'm
well,
guessing,
you could also do that if you
Yeah.
elect to. Yeah.
but they'll be pre-painted, no doubt.
Now I'm about to scroll down to what's something that's been super exciting to people who has played Trails of who has played Zero and Azure.
Oh, really?
Yes, and that is the announcement for these two beautiful people, Licia Mao and Crow Ambers. They are getting their own figures. We don't have anything yet other than they are definitely coming. I know a lot of Trails fans are like, that's a day one purchase for me. Just know that they are a little pricey.
Yeah.
These are the scale figures that I was talking about. So scale figures take into account of the actual dimensions of a character.
Yeah, they
and
are
set
to
at a certain
scale.
scale.
Yeah.
So it's typically like 1/7, 1/8 scale. Those are the typical scales that you see. We don't know which scale this is going to be, but judging from the past, it's probably going to be a 1/7 scale. I'm going to wager. So yeah, so I'm super excited about this and just the possibility of more like Trails character coming into figure form. Previously we had Reen and this other girl, I forgot what her name was, but it's one of the Cold Steel character who has also been like figurified, if you will. So look forward to more of these coming soon. And again, all of these will be linked down below. Now to close out with just a little bit more figure talk. Ramza, Delita, and Agrias from Final Fantasy Tactics Brain Arts is now up for pre-order. So if you guys are big fans of Final Fantasy Tactics, oh sorry, hold on. Oh, my screen disappeared. What happened to my screen?
Oh, that's okay.
No, I'll fix this in a second. I learned how to fix this the other day. I didn't know how to fix this, but then I learned. 1 second.
No worries. And by the way, just a heads up to everybody that the links that we include in the description are not going to be affiliate links, but they're just there for your own viewing pleasure. So.
Oh yeah, we're not getting paid by any of this at all. Sponsor us, Square Enix. Okay. So here we have the Bring Art series. Now the Bring Art series are basically kind of like Figma, but from Square Enix themselves. They're a little pricier.
Is that the Final Fantasy Anthology on sale?
Yes, it is. Squirrel. So yeah, so we've got Agrias. So you can see how like, oh wait, what happened to that? There you go. You can see how they're posable.
Oh,
You can see the
yeah.
ball joints. Yeah.
Oh, and that
So you
looks
can put them-
really closely, like very close to the original character concept art.
Yes. They look gorgeous. Like if I'm a bigger fan of FFT, you bet your top dollars I would get these.
For
So
sure.
they even posted. I think this is like the cover of the game or some kind of like promotional art. Actually had them in this very post. So that's pretty cool.
That's rad.
Yeah, so all three of them are available right now at the Square Enix store for like $87 or so, give or take. And if these are not your cup of tea,
I've been waiting for this.
We do have more figures. We have scale figures of 2B, 9S from Nier Automata. We have Reese from Trials of Mana. And we also have Tifa and Aerith in their dresses, also available for pre-order in the Square Enix store right now. So please check it out.
Oh, what was that figure that you showed off the other day that was massive?
That was that was the what is it called?
Final Fantasy 6.
Oh, did you want to look at that?
I don't know. It's super cool. It'd be pretty.
It was super cool.
Yeah, we might
was
show
super
it off
cool.
if
Might
if
show
you
it
want
off.
to.
I do. Hang on one second. I do, but I need to find that. I need to find that video.
In the meantime, I could show off the other merch that you were.
Yeah,
had in
take
the
a look
dock.
at the Grandia merch.
Yeah, that's the stuff I was actually like. I can't wait to see what this is all about.
Oh
let
yeah,
me,
take a look.
let me turn off dark mode here real quick. Okay. So, here we can subscribe to something. I don't want to look at that. Okay. All right. Grandia. Here, we got a whole bunch of Grandia stuff here. I have no idea what any of this is. An acrylic layered panel. That's cool. I don't know what it is, but it looks nice. Oh, that's just like some original artwork, isn't it?
Yes.
But
So
it's on
for
acrylic.
anyone, hold on. Can we? Yes, that is an acrylic panel. So yes, basically just like art on acrylic.
Okay.
Yeah. So and I would imagine that it's something that you can hang on your wall instead of being like an acrylic stand.
Yeah.
So like
And then-
yeah. So
Oh, they've got some pixel mascots here. It looks like those are, I think, standees basically, and
yep. Got some
Grandia
figures. I think.
Beastech. Let's take a look at these.
Also, I know they are still acrylic stands. These are acrylic
Oh, okay.
stands.
Okay,
these are
those are
acrylic
the
stands.
acrylic
Okay.
stands.
I was like,
Gotcha.
that's too inexpensive to be figures. What?
Okay. This Grandia pin, actually, I'm eyeballing this right now.
Oh yeah.
This pin, I like pins. I want to make my own at some point, but it's a Grandia merch.
Did
How do
you
I
see
not?
the other pin? Did you see the other one?
The Justin pin?
Yeah.
I didn't
like
really take a
pixel
look
art,
at that. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, see? Yeah, that's pretty cool, right?
I like this one more though. Okay, we'll go back.
Do it.
How much? Oh, it's like $10, and that's before shipping to the US. That's kind of the tricky thing about a lot of these. Okay, I think these are figures, or are they standees also?
They're probably all standees. I don't think
they're
they have any
standees.
actual figures in there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
But these are
standees.
still really cool. Like if you're a fan of the series, I mean, look, this is relatively inexpensive compared to
I know.
getting a full-on figure.
And
so
and it's not often that you get like new merch for
such an
series.
old game, right?
Exactly, for a series that hasn't been touched for a long time. I mean, I guess yeah, I guess that's pretty much all that they had here for Grandia. I was kind of hoping for figures, but I shouldn't have gotten my hopes up too high. I just saw Grandia. I'm like, yes, Grandia. All the things. I'll get the pin though, maybe.
Get the pin and get other things. You know what? I think they should sponsor us.
I think whenever you buy something from them, because I know you will, you can just get me the pin and I'll pay you the difference, and then we'll combine our shipping.
Well, no,
Save myself
see,
$100.
I think so. Otaku Mode actually ships from the States.
Oh, do they?
So, yes. Tokyo Otaku Mode has warehouses in the States. So we'll be linking that also in the bottom. So if you're a fan of Grandia, don't say that we didn't hook you up. These are all like new merch for a relatively old game, and it's super cool. So that's why I just decided that we need to share this great news to y'all.
You know, maybe we should skip that other figure for now, just because we are hitting that 2-hour mark already.
Oh wow, yeah,
I
time
know.
flies.
It really does.
Time flies.
And here I was. Remember last week? I was like, "Oh, we'll try to keep it under an hour." Well, here we are. Yeah, I don't think that's happening.
We had the Nintendo Direct. I felt like that had to happen.
It took precedence. It was necessary. So, Baku, before we wind down and take a look at some of those super chats, what are you doing and where can people find you?
Well, I I'm still pretty energized. So I think what I'm gonna do is right after the stream, I'm gonna be right after this podcast, anyways. I'll be streaming the very first stream of Yakuza Like a Dragon. So we'll be
Oh,
moving
really?
to a new game. Yes, Yakuza Like a Dragon is a turn-based Yakuza game that's received so much love from the community, and I cannot wait to try it.
I could swear
Yeah.
you've already played that. Is this your first time playing it?
No, so I played through Yakuza 0 all the way to 6. So that's sort of like one large journey, if you
Yeah.
will, about a certain protagonist. This is going to be like a reboot with a new protagonist and completely different new playing style. It just throws so many people off. But whoever stuck around and enjoyed it, and there's a lot of newcomers because they heard like, oh, it's a turn-based RPG. I'm gonna give this a try, and they absolutely love it. So
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna really love this game. Here's the hope. So I'm gonna be playing that, and I'll be streaming. Let's see, over at Twitch of probably 9 p.m. Wednesday through Sundays.
All right. And people can find you following the link in the video's description. As for myself, I'm going to be playing some Shin Megami Tensei 5 here. I would normally be streaming it right now on Twitch at twitch.tv/SuperDerekRPGs. And we also do this every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But because we pushed this stream back a day, I'm doing this instead. So catch me on Wednesday when we'll be playing some more SMT5 hard mode. And I will continue to get my butt kicked on stream mercilessly. It's really fun for you all to point and laugh, so it's perfect. So I hope to see you guys there. At this point, I guess we can take a look at some of those super chats that we ended up getting. We got a couple today here. One from Duo Beard, who said that Super Derek is the internet's Valentine's gift to us.
Tell that to Amy. Go ahead. You tell that to Amy. Tell that to Amy.
Thank you so much, Duo Beard, and you're welcome, internet. And then
thank you, Derek.
And then
thank
just
you for gracing us with your presence on Valentine's Day. A lot of us are just like sad and alone, but Mr. Married here is like spending his Valentine's Day evening here hanging out with us. What an honor. What an honor.
Well, hey, I mean, the night is still young, so I'll be wrapping things up with Amy here before long. So Naticus also dropped a message here in the chat. He said, did Baku say trails?
I said trails.
Oh my goodness. You said trails.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure that means you are now contractually obligated to not play Yakuza Like a Dragon and to start playing Trails in the Sky the Third.
Oh no, there's gonna be a completely different mob that's gonna come after me because I've promised them Like a Dragon for about 6 months now.
So you're gonna do Kiryu stream as for this upcoming Yakuza?
See, that's the thing. Kiryu is no longer the main character. It's completely new. Yeah, there's 7 games, 0 to 6, that has Kiryu sort of like pretty much the de facto main character, and now there's this new guy.
Well, he likes RPGs, so he must be all right in my book.
Yes. And I cannot wait to get started. So if you guys are still bored, it's Valentine's Day, you have nothing better to do, come by and hang out.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll probably be doing that here before too long. So, Baku, have you got any other closing thoughts here before we close things out for the evening?
I will try not to be toxic about Chrono Cross.
I appreciate that. I appreciate your efforts. My expectations are low. All right, everybody. Well, thank you all for joining us for tonight's episode of HitPoint. Be sure to rate us on your podcast platform of choice. If you like today's video, like it. If you're new here and if you liked what you saw, get subscribed, do all the things. And we'll see you next Sunday with the next episode when we talk about all the other cool new stuff that we didn't get to talk about today because it wasn't announced yet.
There are a lot of things. I already see it on the horizon. I already know.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, take care, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a great night, everyone.